That's the funny thing about when you're calling the shots. Always somebody trying to take you out. So you gotta be tougher. You gotta run it harder. And the fact is yeah, not all leaders are yoked out. But when one does step up, and he is yoked out, and he does speak a certain way, and he does inspire, and he is a true leader, it's a different fucking level.
Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some snack habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get straight to this intro. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I kick. And I appreciate all the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So whatever happened to Big Boy from Strength Cartel and his massive, I mean massive support of Wes Watson? Remember that correlation, that collaboration? Remember Wes Watson and the Strength Cartel? Remember how Wes Watson slowly but surely bumped Big Boy out the way? And he was over there eating bananas and watermelons and all kinds of weird fucking fruits with Cali Muscle. Hey, yeah, I want to have me a piece of watermelon. Remember? Hey, Biggs. Yeah, Biggs. Right? Remember when he was doing all that? And slowly but surely, Wes Watson was taking over the Strength Cartel. What started out as a mere collaboration became basically Wes Watson and the Strength Cartels. You know, kind of like David Ruffin and the Temptations. You know, it's Wes Watson and what's their names again? That's exactly what started to happen. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, maybe about 6 months ago, Big Boy disappeared. He stopped being in videos with Wes Watson. I don't know if they had a disagreement, a falling out, but there could be only two big dogs in the arena at the same time. There could only be two alphas in a fucking gym filled with alphas, right? There can only be one leader, one yoked motherfucker. That's it, according to Wes Watson, right? Big Boy fell off. Or was it something more mysterious and something more crazier than that, where they had a falling out? Because they obviously definitely had some type of falling out. See, you can't have just a, hey, Wes Watson, we did a little bit of business. We made a couple promos and t-shirts, and now I'm going to let you do your thing. No. It can't be that with a person like Wes Watson. You're either all in or you're not. And it seems like Big Boy from Strength Cartel was all in at some point. He was so much all in that he had several people making videos about him. People were doubting his certifications. People were questioning his integrity, his manhood, his size, his legitimacy, if the weights were even real, because of his collaborations with Wes Watson. He took all of Wes Watson's hate and it started to bear on Big Boy. You can tell. People like Big Joe, you know what I'm saying? The Redskins logo, who definitely was a staple in the Strength Cartel. Someone who stood with Biggie from beginning to end. They stood with Calvin. They were right there with Calvin Johns from the beginning to the end, right? He disappeared on him. Then you had, of course, the death of Wicked from Strength Cartel, which was very mysterious. And I think a lot of people, no disrespect to the people who believe that Big Boy did disrespect Wicked at the end and towards the funeral and only gave him a certain amount of money and all that. That's between the family and him, right? But there was definitely videos made. John Bravo made a video explaining that whole situation. A lot of people made videos because at that point, Big Boy was basically a pincushion. He was a target because of his association with Wes, right? So you can understand a man feeling some type of way. Damn, bro, I'm taking all your baggage. I thought this would be a good idea, coming together, two fucking alphas in an alpha world, right? But like I said, there could only be one king of the jungle, right? So you had a lot of Big Boy's people falling off. He already had the tendency, the Wes Watson tendency, to push people away. People like Pitbull, people like Wicked, who we felt he took advantage of, right? And of course, Big Joe, who we thought would be with Biggie forever, he bounced. One more chance. Big Boy, give me one more chance. No, he's gone. Big Joe's gone, right? He said, how? And left. That's how. And it was just Wes Watson, Cali Muscle, and Big Boy from Strength Cartel. Man, they were in the gym every day yacked out of their minds, right? Get it, Biggs. Get it, Biggs. Get it. Come on, Wes, buddy. Come on, Wes, right? And then it was no more. Then all of a sudden, these WW t-shirts that they were wearing, these ex-convict alike clothing that they were putting out, just stopped. You know, up every mountain, down the dirty road, you know, for there are stories of little men that are told. See, no one ever goes in and no one ever comes out. It was like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. Big Boy went in and he never came out. But when he did, he took the back door like the Oompa Loompas, and no one even knew that him and Wes stopped fucking with each other. We're talking about Wes Watson doing numerous videos. Every time he was seen, he was with fucking Big Boy from Strength Cartel. He was pushing Strength Cartel. He was wearing them WW shirts. He was doing all that to immediately that ceased. And he was no longer doing that. And now he wasn't doing videos with Cali Muscle and Big Joe and Big Boy and Strength Cartel and all the sitches. Fair. He wasn't doing that. You know what he was doing? He was doing videos with Jack Doherty, the fucking Island Boys, and whatever other gimmick fucking content creator he could find. We're talking about this man went from people pushing 600 pounds of iron in a gym to people pushing, to brothers, twin brothers pushing each other's tongues with their other tongue, right? That's what he did. So he became a gimmick. Was it that Big Boy, seeing the bullshit coming, got tired of taking on the hatred and becoming a target and having videos made about him, that he decided to cease all business with Wes Watson? Or was it something darker than that? Did Big Boy see something that Wes did to a female, or perhaps the way he treated people, that Wes and fucking Biggie said, you know what, we're gone? Or Big Boy said, I'm gone. You know, it's a mystery to me. It's something I don't know if we're going to find out. You know, with all this shit going on with Wes Watson right now, and yes, he's done. I wanted to address something else, right? Even more so than the mystery of Big Boy and Wes Watson and their severed fucking bromance, right? Well, what happens more in my mind of thinking is I wanted to clear up some bullshit. You have John Bravo's lawyer, and John Bravo did a video, who made some statements yesterday that I believe shook a lot of people to the core. A lot of the people that want to see Wes Watson locked up, not only just locked up, but where they throw away the key. And I understand if a man beats women and treats women the way he did, I'm one of them, right? But for all the people that just seem that they want to just see him locked up just because of jealousy, or because they just don't like him, they dislike him, or they've developed this fucking hatred for his attitude, right? That's no reason to want to see a man locked up. That man deserves to be locked up if he's hurting women. You know, if that man's assaulting people in the community and he's fucking just too much for the community's safety and security, yes, he has to go. But I don't want to see him locked up for being an asshole. You know, I'm an asshole, right? I'm just not that type of asshole. And I'm not someone who talks about his asshole every day like Wes did, right? To get, literally, if you really think about it, how did Wes get famous? Talking about his own asshole. That's what really got him famous. That motherfucker is driving a Bugatti because he talked about his shit being that big. That's really what it is. The 128 G-Man. But anyways, yesterday, John Bravo's lawyer does an amazing video, and he's breaking down the charges, the case factors, all the things that could either hurt or help Wes. And best believe this is a legitimate lawyer, okay? This is someone who's unbiased, someone who goes by rule of law, who's very educated, speaks eloquently, and is going to tell you straight up whether this man, is there any loopholes for this man, what he would do in fighting the case, because he's a criminal lawyer. So his first instinct is not to convict, but to evict, get his ass up out of there, right? And he made a statement that got everybody tripping. What he did say, and we'll get back to the Biggie stuff right now because I got some mo. I got a whole lot of mo on that, right? But what he did say was that Wes Watson had action of getting this case dropped in the state of Florida. If Wes Watson's lady decides that she does not want to testify nor press the issue, they could drop all charges. They don't got nothing on Wes. Ain't that a coinkydink, right? And there's people like, no, you don't understand. The DA, and look, and I come from an understanding that the DA could pick up any and all charges if they want. Now, If Wes Watson was to be one of those slick motherfuckers that could get at someone who can get at someone and say, hey, we could put a few meal tickets in your on your books, right? And she decides, hey, that's good enough for me, and she doesn't feel threatened anymore, and she wants to go to the district attorney and say, you know what, it wasn't as bad as I made it seem. Not only does that put her in a situation of falsifying a police report or falsifying information to a cops, faking to get a restraining order, and all these different things, right, that could put her freedom at jeopardy. People are not stupid. They understand. And guess what? There was cameras and other people there. So that means out of those three guys, them bodyguards and Wes Watson's Hopalong Cassidy rag, no one's going to say anything. Everyone's going to have the same story that Wes just was the nice guy trying to help her from the car after the Miami Heat game to the house, and she just happened to fucking rip her hair out of her head, bump her head, get a few scratches and bruises all over her body because she just bumped into everything. And what you see on camera, that's fake. That's not the real Wes. That's a clone. That's AI, right? Look, I understand that legally what John Bravo's lawyer was explaining is that, yes, Wes, there would be action there. But I'm saying morally, we want to see Wes go down for hurting women because he's done it before and he will continue to do it. If a narcissist asshole like him gets away with this situation, who do you think's the next victim? The next girlfriend. Believe that. Or the same one over and over again, because if she's willing to take money, that means she's willing to hang around, be the hang around, right? Hang around girl. And she ain't going to get no patch. Not at all. She's going to get patched up with these if she don't stop it, right? That's how Wes Watson's attitude is towards women, their possessions. And I believe he does this. And so I do agree with John Bravo's lawyer. Of course, he's a lawyer. I'm a fucking content creator and an ex-convict with tattoos all over his fucking body. Who am I to fucking say no, right? But also at the same time, I believe it's past that point of no return. I believe because of the videos that are allegedly out there, because I believe that not all three of these guys already have flipped on Wes Watson. They're not trying to do time with Wes. They're not trying to pick up them aggravating factors, right? And usually you're around Wes Watson, I'm sure it's aggravating. Case in point, I believe that the charges are going to stick, and I believe Wes is in fucking trouble. What he deserves. Hey, we're talking about a man who had it all, who threw it all away over a pair of fake tits, a pair of fake tits and a rented ring. You know, straight up. That's just the facts. Back to Big Boy. Isn't it a mystery that Big Boy all of a sudden decided to distance himself from Wes? To many, maybe. To me, not really. I seen the writing on the wall. I seen people that would not associate with Wes Watson, not even fucking look at him. People like Big Joe. You could see in the videos he looked disgruntled. He looked upset. He looked distant. He wasn't in most of the videos with Wes Watson. He did a couple promo pictures, but you could tell he was like, this fucking white dude's an asshole, bro. And I'm not making it about color. I'm just saying that straight up. Wes is a white dude, and he was like, this white, how? Right? Redskins emblem. This white dude's an asshole. You could tell that Wes Watson is used to being a narcissist and walking around the gym and having all eyes on him. Whereas Big Boy is the exact same way. Being the leader of a fucking group called the Strength Cartel, where they were booming in the past. You know, everybody, when Strength Cartel was at its peak with Pitbull and Wicked and Big Joe and all the other guys, and you had Big Boy, man, they were making waves. They were all over these weightlifting contests and these expos. And Joey Stacks was like, hey, dog, I was Strength Cartel. What you mention me, dog? Come on, dog. Hey, remember that one time Biggie tried to stab me, dog? You know what I'm saying? I said, no, I remember when you tried to get him. No, dog, you didn't see. He had it hoop because Wes Watson told him. Look, I was just trying to do an honest fucking expo, do a few curls, get up in the morning. Me and Stretch, we're going to go build. We do residential shit. If you don't know, here's my card. I build fences. That's my claim to fame. Not only do I have fake gold teeth, but I build fences, dog. You know, leave me alone, dog. I said, leave me alone. I'm Straight Cartel. Right? Hey, even though Joey Stacks was also part of Strength Cartel at its peak, everyone was leaving because of the way allegedly that Big Boy was treating them. And then along comes a bigger asshole than him, literally, right? Wes, 5'6" Watson. And what does Wes do? He gets right in like Flynn, right? Not, you know, usually when someone has a brand, a business, and you're doing a collaboration with them, hey, you do deference to them. Like, you know, everything is you defer it, right? You defer the ball. We'll take it over there next time. We'll take it after the half. You're like, hey, This is all you, bro. What do you want me to do? But Wes ain't that way. Wes is like, get the fuck out of here, Joe. Right? I'm a fucking maniac. Right? And so I think Big Boy was like attracted to that. Like, fuck yeah, another fucking gangster, another. Because if you notice, as soon as Wes got it, like they both changed. They both changed. Once Wes Watson got around Big Boy, tattoos all over the head, he started doing the Big Boy thing. You know how Big Boy got fucking San Clemente everywhere on his body, strength, Cartel everywhere about 100 times. All of a sudden, San Diego popped up on Wes about 100 times. Wes got all tatted. He wanted to look like a Mexican, right? He wanted to be in that motherfucker. Soul gang, right? You could tell by the writing on my forehead. He wanted to be all gangstered out, wearing fucking the type of clothing that Big Boy and the Strength Cartel were wearing, doing all that. And then you fast forward to the future. No more Big Boy for whatever reason. No more Strength Cartel. And now Wes Watson is wearing Crocs, those Temu shorts, fake Versace shirts, got a whole bunch of melting ass tattoos on his head, and he's over there hanging around the Island Boys while they're kissing in the corner and Jack Doherty's fake fighting. That's what it turned into. The last time that we seen Wes Watson around anyone that we believed like really cared about him was that dude Dumbbell Rob, right? And what did Dumbbell Rob do? Ski skirt, that'll work. Bye-bye now, because I'm way too vicious. He got on too. I believe Big Boy and Wes Watson didn't have a falling out. I believe Big Boy severed contact because he knew that this dude was an asshole and this dude was heading down. Straight Cartel's stock went down based upon fucking his interactions with Wes Watson. We're talking about where a man that thought he was hard, was doing his thing, was on top, was taking over the fucking the weightlifting world, and Strength Cartel was a monster in the game, right? They would just Debo in the game, Bulldog up in the game, doing whatever they wanted to do, right? To hanging around with one man. And that is how toxic Wes Watson is, that hanging around him, careers start to decline. He's like that fucking disease, the nothing from the never ending story, that when he passes you, everything fucking dies, everything melts, everything goes away. Because of his aura, because of the way he is, no one wants to be around that. No one wants to celebrate that. And so everything that you got going on that you built starts to wither and wilt away like a dead rose. That's what started to happen, man. There were so many videos being made. I made videos. Hey, dog, I had to do what I had to do, right? He was a target. He was a target for people because of his association with Wes. Before that, Big Boy got one video made about him, about his interaction with Joey Stacks. And come on, Biggs. Hey, make sure you get it on camera, dog. Make sure you get it on camera, dog, right? We all knew what that was about. Anyways, we'll truly never know what happened unless someone says something. But Big Boy was smart enough to get the fuck on from Wes. And what did he do after he lost all his homies because of his interaction with Wes Watson? Now it's no longer Strength Cartel. Now it's Biggs and Son, right? It's Big Boy and Son, and all he does is work out and eat peanut butter sandwiches and hamburgers with his son all the day. You know, that's it. His son's getting as bigger than Wes Watson is right now. He's like, fuck that, man. We're gonna dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. They did the Sanford and Son, only it's fucking Big Boy and Son. He's like, I got to change my image up. I got to kick all these motherfuckers to the curb. You got one who says, hey, I eat watermelon all the time. And that motherfucker's passing out on every other podcast. Fucking, he's in the hospital more than he's on camera. Then you have Wes Watson, who's getting locked up for beating on women, talking about, I didn't do steroids, right? And then, of course, you got Big Joe. No, you don't. Big Joe been left. Pitbull been left. All these guys been left. And I believe the fallout was real between Big Boy and Wes, and I think either they had a conversation and they agreed to disagree, or Big seen the writing on the wall, was like, fuck this dude. Maybe he's seen the way Wes treated women, because I've never heard Big Boy to have treated women like that, right? Maybe he's seen the true Wes Watson that everyone talks about and says that you don't really see. I mean, look at what you see on camera. You know how most people, man, that are assholes, like the Ellen syndrome, right? Being all nice, the Oprah syndrome, being all nice, you know, oh, we're going to get a book after when it's commercial time. Fuck no, bitch. You ain't going to get a book. You're lucky you're in my motherfucking, right? That's the attitude. You hear these stories, these horror stories about them being very different and being an asshole. Well, Wes Watson, he was an asshole on camera, so imagine him off. That was not a role he was playing. In the beginning, he was playing a role, but he became that. Now, his ass is looking at a long, long time for beating on women. Not only does he talk about it, he actually fucking does it. I've had someone get in my DM and said, oh, he's a real one. At least he don't just talk about it. He's about it. He's about beating women. Go support him, you weirdo. Obviously, Big Boy decided he wasn't. And I got to shout Big Boy out for his distance with Wes Watson. You never seen him anymore wearing the WW shirts. They weren't doing that no more. I don't know if they signed a 2.5 week contract and that was that. But Strength Cartel barely is recovering, and they're riding on fumes right now in the gym after their interaction with Wes. That's how bad it is. Let me know if you believe what I believe, man, that Big Boy seen the writing on the wall and got on before the ship sank. And I wonder if Big Boy has anything to say, or he's going to be called as a character witness, because that was his buddy. Remember? My buddy. They were kicking back, doing their thing. Wes Watson's done, man. If you don't believe it's done, let me know. John Bravo's lawyer believes he might have a chance. I say he doesn't. One never knows, does one? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe. And that's the betterment of all people. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Turlock area, pull up to the Barrio and get you something cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service out there in Tucson, Arizona. Make sure you Google his number and name, and he'll pull up, and he's got you. We need to support our small, local raza businesses to the fullest. Bang, bang.